Today, let's talk about academic assessment because this is one of the pre-licensing process that confuses lots of internationally trained engineers or geoscientists in Canada or planning to come to Canada. First, you have to understand that in Canada, every province conducts its own academic and competency assessments to determine if you are ready for professional registration. This is not a situation of one-size-fits-all assessment process. In this video, I'll be using the province of Manitoba as an example, and the regulatory body in Manitoba is Engineers Geoscientists Manitoba. But this is peculiar to other provinces as each regulatory body have what they call the board of examiners. And their goal is to ensure that whoever they are admitting into the association or into the engineering body or geoscientist body, the academic background meets up with the Canadian requirement. And there is what we call the Canadian Engineering Accreditation Body or board. And for geoscientists, I think we have geoscientists. I can't get it off my head right now, but there is a body that regulates these two professions. So we have the board of examiners to ensure that your academic qualification matches with the Canadian standard. So if you're an international graduate applying for your intern status, your engineering intern status or geoscientist intern status, the engineering body will first look at your WES credential assessment. So WES is World Education Service. So based on that, they will decide whether you also need an academic assessment. But if you're applying with your geoscientist background and for geoscience intern status, an academic assessment is always required. So there is no exemption for your geoscientist academic assessments. So now, here is something very important that many people misunderstand when it comes to your WES assessment. So WES does not assess the content of your program. No, WES only confirms the level of your degree, like your bachelor's degree or master's degree. So the engineering body, I'll be using engineering body here, but when I'm talking of engineering body, I'm also referring to both the engineers and geoscientist body too, because most provinces, they combine both. So the engineering body academic assessment is different because its purpose is to compare the actual content of what you studied to the Canadian accredited engineering programs, or they call geoscientist knowledge requirement. So there is this comparison of what you studied abroad to what is obtainable here in Canada. I hope that's clear. So if the engineering body determines that an academic assessment is required, they will definitely notify you. You will then be asked to complete an academic self-assessment. So I will do a video whereby I'll talk more about this academic self-assessment checklist. And also you definitely pay for that assessment. So there is a fee attached to it. So this checklist helps the engineering body understand exactly what courses you took and how they align with the Canadian standards. So based on the results of this assessment, so one of three things will definitely happen. Is either your academics, your degree will be accepted, or you'll be assigned some technical exams to meet up the gap, or you complete a confirmatory program to fill specific gaps in your degree. So this doesn't mean that you failed. It simply means that your education is being aligned with the Canadian requirements. So, and most people that do get this are people that you have a degree in probably a technology background and you want to ascend into the engineering background. So there'll be some gaps that you need to cover. Probably you'll be asked to take some courses. So that is all for me. But if you still feel confused, you can still ask your questions, DM me or drop your questions in the comments. But just for you to understand, the goal of this assessment, just know that it's not for rejection, but it's to ensure competency in the system. And also, one of the primary goals is also to ensure public safety and professional standards. So follow for more real talk, real tips on how to strive as a professional in Canada. We shall all get there. Cheers.